Hello and welcome. You're tuned in to Embodied Astrology, and my name is Renee Sills. I'm a consulting astrologer and somatic educator, and I'm here to offer Virgo season ahead horoscopes for your sun, moon, and rising signs. Virgo season extends from August 22nd to September 22nd in 2024. Regardless of your sun, moon, or rising sign, you also have Virgo in your chart. In this season's readings, I'll be focusing on how the astrological influences of Virgo season resonate for your sign, and how you can tune in best with this season's influences and needs. These horoscopes are focused on you, and in order to deliver what I feel are the clearest messages, for the most part, I don't get overly detailed about astrological specifics. If you want more information on what transits, aspects, and retrogrades are doing this season, and if you're interested in my take on what this means for our larger world and current events, make sure to take a listen to my Virgo season ahead overview, where I break down this season's astrology in detail and offer interpretation and intuition for working with it on personal and collective levels. Over the course of Virgo season, I and the team here at Embodied Astrology have a number of offerings that resonate with Virgo's needs of practicality, healing, and service to the larger whole. Practically, astrology is a great tool for timing and strategy. And historically, it has been used by leaders in all spheres to take advantage of opportunity and work skillfully with challenge. As you're probably well aware, there are lots of challenges in our world right now that need skillful approaches in order to heal and tend the needs of the greater good. In service of these aims, Embodied Astrology is hosting a participatory astrological research group where we're exploring critical areas in need of activism and developing timing strategies for activists and organizers to tune in with the greatest efficacy and change between now and 2050. In Virgo season, our research group will be meeting twice, on September 12th and 14th, and we would love to have you there. On a personal level, bringing our best to the needs of the times is never always easy, and working through challenges is part of what builds our competency, maturity, creativity, and resilience. This year, our team member Sherry Taylor is diving deep into one of the most potent influences when it comes to these themes, and that's the planet Saturn. Over the course of 2024 and 25, as Saturn transits Pisces, Sherry is holding space at Embodied Astrology to help us fortify our discipline and devotion so that we can work in ways that are more authentic and aligned with our life purpose. Sherry's offerings work in cycles that include council sessions, where she invites guests to join her, along with release and rest sessions, where her focus turns inward towards the realms of breathwork and personal practice. In Virgo season, Sherry is working specifically with themes of vocation and purpose, and you can tune in with the recording of her council session with vocational astrologer Renee and integrate with her through the healing release session on September 1st. One of the most challenging experiences that many people are contending with right now is information overwhelm and uncertainty about what is real when it comes to media, information, and news. Current astrology reflects this powerfully in the transit of Neptune at the last degrees of the zodiac. In astrological symbolism, Neptune is associated with our imaginations and the power of our minds to produce feeling states that shape our perceptions of reality. Correspondingly, Neptune is also associated with created images, as we might encounter them through realms of visual media, especially photography and video. With digital manipulation and artificial intelligence becoming increasingly commonplace, it's important that we have discernment and awareness as we navigate the realms of shared information. If you're interested in exploring these themes through astrology, check out the Nebula Lab with Gabs 404. September 7th session will focus specifically on AI and its connections to imagery and visual culture. As social media and news increasingly become sites of social division and manipulation, it's essential that we build skills to contend with conflict. Astrology happens to be an amazing tool for navigating difference and conflict in creative ways that support us in seeing where and how we can work across distances towards mutual aims and efforts. As the social landscape becomes increasingly explosive and dynamic over the next months, I hope you'll consider joining us for our November series with Mars retrograde, led by Ramon Parrish, Constellations of Conflict. Ramon will use astrology to help us find healing in the realms of the internal, interpersonal, and institutional. Finally, this is a time where one of the biggest needs that many people are experiencing is trustworthy and supportive community. Since its inception, Embodied Astrology has always been about bringing people together through the language and practice of astrology. and we continue to offer nourishing and soulful communal spaces monthly and weekly. Once a month, you can join us with Janata Petrus for the Full Moon Artistic Alchemy Spaces, where she'll offer prompts and practices for working with the full moon's influences, the seasonal cycle, and your natal chart. These spaces are rich with support for sustaining through the ups and downs of life with creativity and joy. Join Janata on September 15th for the Pisces Full Moon Edition, which is sure to be an extra potent one, as that full moon is also the first lunation of this year's second season of eclipses. For weekly support, you can find me every Monday in Somatic Space, where we work with the astral influences of the week ahead through gentle and adaptive movement practices, guided meditation, breathwork, and visualization. These sessions are meant to set you up to meet the moment and cultivate mind, heart, body practices that help you align with what astrology is asking for now. Finally, for those of you ready to get offline and into dimensional space together, I hope you'll consider joining me October 24th through 27th for an on-land retreat at the Eco Dharma Center in Colorado's Rocky Mountains. Together with Ramon and Michelle Gabrieloff Parrish, we'll be exploring the intersections of astrology, embodiment, and environment. You can learn more about everything I just mentioned through the links in our show notes or at embodiedastrology.com. Last but not least, I hope that you find this work supportive, and if you do, that you will support us in turn. The best ways to do that are to subscribe, follow, like, and leave us comments, which helps our channels grow. Your one-time tips, recurring donations, and monthly memberships are so appreciated, and they sustain the production of this work. Thank you. Now, onto your horoscopes. Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to Virgo season. This reading is for all of your Capricorn placements, especially your sun, moon, and rising. I'm going to go through this horoscope in 3 parts: your head, your heart, and your belly. Or we might think about what's practical, what's healing, and what connects you with the larger environmental whole through your body and your actions. Starting with your head and where your attention is over the course of Virgo season. Capricorn, back in Leo season, I talked about how you are in a period of really important transformation and some kind of death or dying process. Now, if you work with tarot or if you work with esoteric symbolism, you know that the symbol of death rarely actually means a physical or literal death. And often what it's talking about is some part of your being needing to transform, needing to let go of what was so that what will be has space to emerge. As we move into Virgo season, I think that a lot of you are very much in this process of internal transformation. And I'm going to say that the first 2 weeks or so of Virgo season really needs you to keep being in a space of letting go of what is no longer serving you and being with the question of what is emerging next. There is a lot of potent energy for you right now when you attend to your inner world and when you allow whatever is wanting to come out of you in a more external or public way to actually be quiet. I think that this is a period of time when many of you are needing to adjust the ways that you inhabit your lives on really fundamental and core levels. There are habits and patterns and ways of being that simply are not in alignment with your greatest gifts, offerings, and happiness at this time. And it requires some kind of process for you to actually let them go. Now, there are some of you who are dealing with really significant endings, and these could be endings of relationships. These could be actually relationships with people who have now passed on into spirit. There may be certain situations in your life that are really going through a process of death or dying, where you are feeling a sense of loss and needing to hold space for your emotional reality at this time. I want to encourage you, Capricorns, to be practical about your emotional and psychological needs. It's not always the easiest for Capricorn temperaments to attend to the invisible, the psychological, the emotional, especially when that space maybe feels a little bit overwhelming or messy. A lot of you are really trying to figure out what the end result is and what your steps 1 through 10 are going to be, where you're trying to go, what your goal is, things like that. My friends, Virgo season is asking you to slow down, to be with your inner world and inner workings, and to allow transformation to take its own time. Now, I will say that it is very practical for you over the course of this season to engage the occult and the mystical. And as you are seeking guidance for what your next steps are, listening to your intuition, cultivating and working with processes that help you clarify and strengthen your intuition can be extremely helpful. I would definitely recommend altar practice. This could be anywhere in your immediate environment. If you are a person who doesn't have stable housing, or if you're more of a nomadic type or simply traveling right now, you can also create small altars that you carry with you. I've seen altars put in little matchbooks before. You can also think about the altar of your body and what you are wearing on your body at any given time. You might want to work with talismans or jewelry of some kind that can help you remember what it is that you are trying to devote your time, energy, and attention to. And for those of you who are working with loss and transition in a way that it would feel good to remember, commemorate, and honor what is moving on, there may be a very symbolic presence on this altar that is important. You might want to light a candle for what is moving on now into the realm of memory or spirit, or hold some kind of sacred object with you to help you connect with that presence. This feels like an important time for you to be focusing on what you honor and what you deeply really want to bring attention and awareness to in a holistic way that has more to do with your energy and your psychology than it does with the practicalities of your day-to-day. Now, when it comes to healing and the realms of healing, I'm going to say that this quality of listening actually is such a healing place for you right now. It is not always easy for any signs, and I think Capricorn has its own particular challenges with this. It's not always easy to let go of our internal narratives and really just tune in and listen. This can be challenging in the course of conversation with someone else when you find yourself thinking about what you're going to say while you're trying to listen to what they're saying. This can be extremely challenging just in any given moment at any given place, as we are literally probably always filling our heads with the noise of our thoughts. And it's rare for many people to actually just listen to their environments. Also, listening as a practice doesn't necessarily have to be through your ears. It can be through your body. It can be through your felt sense and your energetic awareness. And the feeling that I have is that at this time, the ways that you listen are some of the most healing spaces and activities that you can locate. I really want to encourage you over the course of Virgo season, especially around the new moon and the full moon. That's September 2nd is the new moon in Virgo, and September 17th is the full moon in Pisces. I want to encourage you to use these times and these lunations as opportunities to listen. On the full moon, September 2nd, I encourage you to listen for guidance. This is a great time to be listening to the voices of your ancestors, mentors, and teachers. If there are books that you love, that could be anything from poetry to philosophy to a comic book, any kind of texts that help you remember something important when it comes to your personal philosophy or when it comes to what you want to uplift in your consciousness, this would be a wonderful time to tune in with those sources of guidance. Then as we get towards the full moon on September 17th, I want to encourage you to listen to your environment. This requires a moment of pause and willful suspension of your internal narratives and any kinds of activities that may fill your consciousness with their own noise or distractions. The full moon is a really good time to take a technology detox, for example, and turn off what might be pulling you out into a million directions and see if you can tune in to what is here and now. Listening is a profound practice. just tuning in with your felt sense. If you're an auditory listener, just tuning in through your ears. If you're a somatic listener, just tuning in with the vibrations and frequencies of your body. If you're an emotional listener, just tuning in with the sensations of emotions and noticing when what you are hearing becomes something that is more active and assertive in what you're thinking, and then using your mind to slow your mind down. When you notice that you have stopped listening, using your mind to come back to a place of quietude. Now, the full moon on September 17th is special because it is the first eclipse in a series of eclipses that will take us all the way through early 2027. And so over the course of the next 2.5 years, there are enormous healing potentials for you when you cultivate your capacities for listening. Now, I need to say that good leaders, skillful leaders, and mature adults are good listeners. The people who are the wisest and the most skillful in the world are good listeners. When someone doesn't know how to listen, and that can include listening to themselves, listening to others, listening to what's emerging bodily, emotionally, psychically, in their sensitivity, etc. When someone isn't good at listening, they tend to have a harmful impact. Their affect in the world, if it's not harmful, can be distracting and ineffective. And so these skills of listening are not just for you to calm your nervous system or tune in with the interconnections and interrelationship or be a better ally, friend, and family member, or be healthier in your own body, mind, heart, and spirit. But these skills of listening will also directly contribute to the ways that you feel your personal agency and power, and the ways that you are able and ready to take up positions of leadership in your life. Now, to have a position of leadership doesn't require you to be a CEO or an authority figure of any kind. We all can embody leadership in the world right now. And one thing that the world really needs is the leadership of people who are good at listening and who have cultivated the inner fortitude and capacity to work with themselves as their minds want to take over with the reactive sensations of what information they happen to be picking up in that moment. So your capacities to listen are healing on a really important level. And here I feel that a lot of you are cultivating deeper listening to your own intuition, deeper listening, especially to your own body and to the needs of your body and to the knowing and the wisdom that comes through your body, and healing for the parts of you maybe that haven't experienced being witnessed or listened to, and healing for your communities, your relationships, and the world at large in the ways that many people have not had the experience of really being heard or presenced fully in a space of listening. Then when it comes to your larger sense of purpose in the world and your greater offerings and gifts at this time, again, your capacities to listen will directly impact what you are able to give. And that includes to yourself, to your relationships, and to the world at large. Over the course of Virgo season and even into the next couple of decades, many of you are working to clarify and transform your sense of value and how you work with your own investments. When I say value and investments, I am talking about what really serves, supports, and nourishes what is most precious to you, what you care about the most. And I'm also talking about the investments of your time, energy, attention, physical labor, emotional and psychological presence, and of course, your material resources as you contribute in those ways to where your values are. Now, if you are unable to listen, then you are unable to locate what is truly valuable. Most people, and I'll say all of us, at times are not good at listening. For folks who are not able to listen, all we really have to center on is our egos, and our egos are fragile, they are fearful, they are reactive kinds of things. And without listening, we don't really know what is important to us. We are constantly cycling through thoughts and ideas that have been put into our minds through all kinds of different sources. We are unable to access the intelligence of our body minds. We are unable to access our collective intelligence and relational intelligence. And so I'm going to say that this is a period of time in which your values are changing remarkably. They are transforming. A big part of this is how you feel about yourself and how you're able to listen to yourself and trust your intuition and move in the ways that you know are important to you, not reactive, not coming from a place of misplaced obligation or something like that. And I'll also say that as you learn to listen, you are more aligned with what is asking for your investment and more likely to be giving that investment in ways that are truly effective. When it comes to this sense of larger purpose, Capricorn, we need you to be moving and operating in the world in ways that are really aligned between your heart, mind, and body, with your priorities very clear so that you are using your amazing fortitude, your strength, your dedication, and determination in ways that you are really choosing and that are integrated with your own sense of agency and empowerment. I'm going to leave it there for now. Capricorn, I hope any or all of that is helpful for you in Virgo season. I'm wishing you all the best. Bye for now.